Dad spent 10 years hunting down people who killed his family. A peaceful Texas farm. A family's life shattered in moments. A decade of pain, revenge, and a hunt for justice that would transform one man from a victim into something far more dangerous. Today, we dive into a story that blurs the lines between vengeance and justice, revealing how far one person will go when the system fails. If you love stories that keep you on the edge of your seat, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And hey, drop a like if this gripping tale has you hooked. Prepare yourself for a journey that's darker and more complex than you could ever imagine. On October 12th, 2009, a meticulously planned home invasion shattered the tranquility of the Brown family farm, situated on County Road 127 in the rural outskirts of Lockhart, Texas. Spanning 180 acres and located 12 miles from the nearest town, the property would become the epicenter of a horrific crime that would later be connected to a broader pattern of systematic attacks across the state. Witnesses reported a dark Chevrolet van with deliberately modified license plates near the property's main gate, suggesting a level of premeditation that would later shock investigators and forensic analysts. The assault began with 3 armed perpetrators breaching the perimeter fence using industrial-grade cutting tools, demonstrating a chilling level of preparation and tactical precision. Sean Brown, a 42-year-old third-generation farmer, was working in the equipment barn approximately 140 yards from the main house at the time of the invasion. Inside the home, his wife Monica, a 39-year-old elementary school teacher, was with their children Claire, 14, and Lucas, 11, unaware of the impending tragedy that would unfold within minutes. Caldwell County Sheriff's Department dispatch logs reveal a horrifying sequence of events, with the first emergency call coming from neighboring farmer Thomas Wilson, who reported multiple gunshots echoing across the rural landscape. Deputy James Martinez arrived at the scene to find Sean Brown critically wounded in the front yard, having sustained 2 devastating gunshot wounds from a .45 caliber weapon, one to the upper chest and another to the right shoulder. Initial evidence suggested a coordinated and ruthless assault designed to neutralize any potential resistance. The crime scene report meticulously documented the attackers' systematic approach. They first disabled the power supply, creating an environment of darkness and vulnerability. Simultaneously, they breached 3 separate entry points, demonstrating a level of tactical coordination more reminiscent of a military operation than a typical home invasion. Forensic evidence painted a harrowing picture of Monica Brown's final moments, revealing she was shot 4 times while attempting to shield her children in the kitchen, a final desperate act of maternal protection. Forensic pathologists determined that both Claire and Lucas Brown were killed by precise execution-style single. During his initial police interview, Brown demonstrated remarkable mental clarity, providing Detective Michael Rodriguez with crucial details about the attacker's movements, weaponry, and tactical approach. Despite his physical trauma, he became an unexpected source of investigative insight. The Caldwell County Sheriff's Department's preliminary investigation suggested a robbery gone wrong, with clear evidence of systematic looting. The family's safe, which had previously contained $15,000 in cash, was found completely emptied, and Monica's valuable jewelry collection had vanished without a trace. By January 2010, following his release from medical care, Brown received the devastating news that the Caldwell County Sheriff's Department had officially classified his family's murder as a cold case. Detective Rodriguez's final report cited multiple insurmountable investigative challenges, a complete lack of physical evidence, forensic details compromised by extensive fire damage, and an absence of any clear investigative motive. Overwhelmed by grief and a desperate need for answers, Brown made the difficult decision to sell the family farm to local land developer Western Plains Agriculture for $1.2 million, a sum significantly below the property's market value. Of the sale proceeds, Brown strategically allocated $175,000 towards his own medical recovery, funding reconstructive surgeries and intensive physical therapy. The remaining funds became the financial backbone of a personal investigation that would consume the next several years of his life. His first critical step was hiring Marcus Blackwood, a former FBI agent with an exceptional reputation for solving complex criminal cases, as his primary investigative consultant. Brown's determination was further evidenced by his acquisition of private investigator licenses in 3 states, Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. Methodically, Brown began constructing a comprehensive database of similar home invasions across these states. His research uncovered 27 cases that bore striking similarities to his family's tragedy, each characterized by tactical precision, military-grade equipment, and the same chilling execution-style murders. Transforming a modest Austin apartment into a dedicated investigation hub, he covered walls with an intricate network of crime scene photographs, meticulously constructed timelines, and potential interconnected evidence that slowly began to reveal a pattern larger than any single incident. Financial records revealed Brown's systematic approach to gathering intelligence, including substantial payments to various underground informants and criminal contacts. Former detective James Morrison, who had peripheral involvement in the original investigation, noted Brown's extraordinary commitment to uncovering the truth. He had successfully established an expansive network of contacts spanning local law enforcement, private security firms, and even prison. Over the course of a decade, Sean Brown invested approximately $450,000 in gathering critical information, systematically unraveling the complex web surrounding his family's murder. His investigative breakthrough emerged when he identified a distinctive signature technique used by the attackers in multiple crime scenes, an unusually precise method of disabling security systems. This specific approach precisely matched specialized military training provided at Fort Benning between 1995 and 1997, significantly narrowing the potential suspect pool and providing the first concrete connection to a specific group of trained operatives. Ballistic forensic reports from 3 separate crime scenes confirmed a critical commonality: the use of custom-modified .45 caliber ammunition manufactured by a specialized weapons dealer in Oklahoma. Brown's meticulously maintained investigation records, which would later be seized by authorities, contained exhaustive documentation tracking potential suspects' movements and activities. His comprehensive research revealed a sophisticated criminal network operating within a strategic geographic triangle encompassing Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. By systematically rotating their criminal activities, these perpetrators had successfully avoided sustained law enforcement detection for years. By 2015, Brown's independent investigation intersected with an FBI task force examining agricultural property crimes. While the federal investigation primarily focused on insurance fraud, Brown's detailed records provided crucial investigative links between seemingly unrelated cases. Unfortunately, budget constraints led to the suspension of the federal investigation, leaving Brown to continue his solitary pursuit of justice. Medical documentation from this period revealed the significant personal toll of his relentless investigation, with records showing symptoms of severe post-traumatic stress disorder and chronic pain resulting from his initial injuries. Dr. Helen Martinez, Brown's treating psychiatrist, documented his singular, almost obsessive focus on uncovering the truth. She noted that the investigation had become his primary reason for existence, providing a psychological lifeline in the wake of his devastating personal tragedy. Despite his declining physical health, Brown's investigative notes maintained remarkable clarity and organizational precision. He systematically compiled evidence, cross-referenced witness statements, and constructed intricate timelines that gradually revealed the complex network responsible for multiple rural home invasions. By 2018, Brown had accumulated sufficient evidence to identify potential suspects. Though he strategically maintained privacy about his discoveries, his bank records revealed increased expenditures on advanced surveillance equipment and tactical gear, while his communication with traditional law enforcement channels gradually diminished. This shift suggested a growing conviction that official investigative channels were inadequate to address the sophisticated criminal network he had uncovered. In early 2019, Brown's comprehensive investigation. Mike Hogan's criminal portfolio included multiple arrests for armed robbery and weapons charges, demonstrating a pattern of escalating violent criminal behavior. In contrast, Steve Hogan's background in private security provided the gang with unprecedented insider knowledge of surveillance systems and security protocols. Both brothers had served under Tucker at Fort Benning, a connection that transcended their military service and evolved into a calculated criminal partnership characterized by military-level precision and strategic planning. Department of Motor Vehicle records meticulously traced the gang's movements through vehicle registrations and traffic violations, revealing a carefully constructed network of legal residences and operational bases. While maintaining a legal residence at a farmhouse outside Oklahoma City, Tucker strategically operated multiple shell companies registered across various Texas addresses. Bank records unveiled a sophisticated money laundering strategy characterized by consistent cash deposits in small increments at numerous locations along Interstate 35, a pattern indicating regular travel and deliberate efforts to avoid financial scrutiny. Brown's exhaustive investigation ultimately uncovered their primary base of operations, the abandoned Desert Palm Motel located on Route 283 in rural Oklahoma. This property, officially condemned in 2015, had been strategically purchased through one of Tucker's intricate shell company networks. Surveillance photographs provided damning evidence of regular meetings at the Desert Palm Motel, with vehicles registered to known associates frequently present at the site. The gang's criminal methodology became increasingly clear through comprehensive insurance claim records, revealing a systematic approach to targeting isolated agricultural properties with substantial insurance policies. Their attacks were executed with such precision that they resembled professional hits rather than conventional robberies, suggesting a level of tactical planning far beyond typical criminal operations. Federal Bureau of Investigation files ultimately linked the group to 17 unsolved cases across 3 states, though investigators consistently lacked sufficient evidence for prosecution. Tucker's operational strategy demonstrated remarkable sophistication, with each gang member assigned specific, well-defined roles. From his Oklahoma City apartment, Tucker managed overall planning and logistical coordination. A critical breakthrough in tracking the gang's movements emerged from Brown's meticulous analysis of their vehicle maintenance routines. He identified specific service locations along their regular routes, a discovery that allowed him to establish their approximate travel schedule with remarkable precision. By combining this information with cell tower data obtained through private investigative sources, Brown developed an increasingly accurate method of predicting the gang's movements. This systematic approach transformed his investigation from a desperate pursuit of justice to a calculated, strategic tracking operation that gradually narrowed the gap between hunter and hunted. Property records revealed Brown's strategic acquisition of a single-story house on Pine Grove Road in Edmond, Oklahoma, purchased under the alias David Wilson. The location, strategically positioned just 3 miles from the Desert Palm Motel, provided optimal surveillance positions to monitor the gang's activities. His rental agreement, processed through a carefully selected property management company, included specific provisions for basement modifications, ostensibly for a home recording studio, but in reality, a meticulously planned surveillance and potential confrontation facility. The choice of location demonstrated Brown's calculated approach to gathering intelligence and potential retribution. Hardware store receipts painted a detailed picture of Brown's preparation, documenting extensive purchases of specialized materials from multiple locations across Oklahoma City. His acquisitions included industrial-grade acoustic foam, double-layer drywall, rubber isolation barriers, and significant quantities of concrete for floor reinforcement. Specialized ventilation equipment further suggested a level of preparation that went far beyond typical home renovation. These purchases hinted at a facility designed for maximum sound suppression and controlled environmental conditions, raising questions about Brown's ultimate intentions. Medical supply records revealed an equally calculated approach to preparation, with Brown purchasing pharmaceutical-grade sedatives through offshore websites. His internet search history demonstrated extensive research into dosage calculations and administration methods, accompanied by strategic purchases of medical restraints and monitoring equipment through various medical surplus auctions. These acquisitions suggested a level of preparation that extended beyond simple surveillance, indicating a potential plan for direct intervention that went far beyond traditional investigative methods. Brown's systematic surveillance log provided an intricate mapping of the gang's operational patterns. Ray Tucker maintained a residence at the Oklahoma City luxury apartments, while the Hogan brothers alternated between the Desert Palm Motel and their farmhouse. Most critically, Brown identified a precise 2-hour window every Wednesday when Tucker would meet with associates at a local diner, leaving the Hogan brothers responsible for equipment maintenance. To support his surveillance and potential intervention, Brown's surveillance extended deep into local law enforcement infrastructure, with detailed documentation of police patrol routes, response times, and radio communication patterns. He methodically mapped multiple dead zones in police radio coverage, identifying precise locations that would provide maximum operational concealment. His preparation went beyond mere observation, including the creation of elaborate false work orders and meticulously crafted utility company uniforms, a strategy designed to provide immediate credibility and minimize suspicion during critical moments of his planned intervention. Financial records painted a clear picture of Brown's escalating preparation, showing significant cash withdrawals from multiple accounts in the weeks preceding his planned operation. He systematically stockpiled extensive supplies, including long-lasting, non-perishable food, advanced medical equipment, and materials specifically selected for extended captivity scenarios. A detailed inventory list discovered by investigators later revealed the depth of his planning, suggesting preparation for the long-term containment of multiple subjects with a level of precision that bordered on military-grade operational planning. The final phase of Brown's preparation coincided precisely with intelligence suggesting the gang was preparing for another potential operation. His surveillance of the Desert Palm Motel revealed increased and suspicious activity, multiple vehicles arriving and departing at unconventional hours, indicating potential preparation for a new criminal mission. Brown's last documented notes demonstrated an extraordinary level of tactical preparation, having meticulously tracked individual gang members' routines, identified their most vulnerable moments, and pinpointed exact opportunities for intervention. Official investigation records documented the first critical moment of Brown's plan: the disappearance of Steve Hogan on March 3rd. Last seen leaving Jake's Auto Repair while operating a fake utility company vehicle, Hogan was intercepted by Brown during a routine parts pickup. Nearby gas station security footage captured the white utility van, providing a chilling visual record of the incident. Critically, the footage showed no signs of struggle, suggesting a level of precision and preparation that transformed Brown from a grieving victim into a calculated hunter, systematically dismantling the criminal network responsible for destroying his family. The systematic dismantling of the criminal network continued with alarming precision. Mike Hogan disappeared 3 days after Steve while conducting surveillance on a potential target farm. His vehicle was discovered abandoned at a truck stop outside Oklahoma City, with his phone and personal weapons conspicuously left behind, suggesting a deliberate and calculated abduction. Ray Tucker's disappearance followed on March 8th, occurring immediately after his regular meeting at Linda's Diner, a routine he had maintained for years, now fatally disrupted by Brown's meticulous planning. Forensic evidence later revealed the extraordinary transformation of Brown's rental house basement. Converted into 3 separate professionally designed containment cells, the space featured medical monitoring devices, soundproof walls, and a level of infrastructure that suggested months of careful preparation. Local hardware store records documented purchases of specialized tools that chillingly matched the torture implements used against Brown's own family. Each cell was equipped with medical-grade restraint systems, advanced monitoring equipment, and environmental controls that indicated a systematic approach to prolonged, controlled interrogation. During meticulously documented interrogation sessions captured by professional-grade video equipment, Tucker's confessions revealed a shocking conspiracy. The attack on the Brown family had been a calculated, commissioned operation orchestrated by Marcus Henderson, a local real estate developer seeking to acquire the Brown farm at a price significantly below market value. Subsequent bank records definitively confirmed a $250,000 payment transferred to Tucker's offshore account precisely 3 days before the fatal home invasion, providing irrefutable evidence of the premeditated murder contract. The gang's criminal portfolio extended far beyond a single operation. Their interrogation videos, later recovered by investigators, contained detailed confessions documenting 17 separate murders across 3 states. Tucker's testimony comprehensively outlined their tactical approach, confirming they had conducted weeks of extensive surveillance on the Brown family, meticulously studying their routines, identifying security vulnerabilities, and planning an execution with military-like precision. Each confession peeled back layers of a sophisticated criminal enterprise that had operated with impunity for years. Medical evidence suggested Brown had employed the same torture techniques the gang had historically used against their victims, drawing methodically from information gathered through autopsy reports and crime scene photographs. The basement facility contained an extensive array of medical supplies and surgical equipment, indicating that his captives were systematically maintained under controlled conditions for extended periods. This approach mirrored the gang's own methods, transforming Brown from a victim into a methodical instrument of retribution. Electrical usage records provided a precise timeline of Brown's operations, revealing that he maintained his prisoners for exactly 27 days. During this period, He systematically extracted comprehensive information about every criminal operation the gang had executed, documenting names, dates, locations, and intricate operational details. The video confessions were meticulously organized and labeled. Law enforcement quickly identified Sean Brown as the prime suspect in their subsequent search of his residence, uncovered a trove of incriminating evidence, recordings of the gang members' detailed confessions, meticulously organized video documentation, and extensive investigative materials painted a comprehensive picture of Brown's decade-long pursuit of justice. The investigation revealed that Brown had employed the same tactical precision, methodical planning, and psychological manipulation that the criminal gang had historically used against their victims, effectively turning their own methods against them with surgical precision. As news of the discoveries spread, public reaction became a complex tapestry of conflicting emotions. Some community members expressed immediate outrage and legal condemnation, viewing Brown's actions as a dangerous violation of legal protocols. Others demonstrated remarkable empathy, viewing his revenge as a justified response to a systemic failure of traditional law enforcement. Media coverage became extensive and nuanced, with numerous outlets engaging in profound debates about the moral and legal implications of vigilante justice, personal trauma, and the limits of institutional protection. The trial of Sean Brown began on a somber winter morning in February 2020, attracting unprecedented public and media attention. The courtroom was packed with reporters, victims' family members, legal experts, and curious observers, all seeking to understand the complex narrative of a man transformed from grieving victim to calculated avenger. Brown appeared composed and resolute, dressed in a simple white shirt and black pants, his demeanor suggesting a man who had long ago made peace with the consequences of his actions. His seasoned defense attorney stood beside him, prepared to navigate the intricate legal and ethical challenges presented by the case. The prosecution, led by a determined and experienced district attorney, presented a meticulously constructed narrative emphasizing the premeditated nature of Brown's actions. They highlighted the systematic planning, the prolonged torture, and the calculated manner in which Brown had tracked, captured, and ultimately executed the gang members. The legal argument centered on the fundamental principle that regardless of the profound injustice suffered, individuals cannot unilaterally assume the role of judge, jury, and executioner. The courtroom became a stage for graphic crime scene images and forensic evidence presented to the jury served as a stark, visceral reminder of the extraordinary brutality that had motivated Brown's actions. The visual testimony documented the systematic violence inflicted by the criminal gang, creating a complex emotional landscape that challenged traditional legal boundaries. After several days of intense deliberation, the jury delivered a verdict that reflected the case's nuanced complexity. Sean Brown was found guilty of 3 counts of murder and 1 count of kidnapping. The judge, weighing the severity of the crimes and the broader community impact, sentenced Brown to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a punishment that seemed to acknowledge both the horror of his actions and the extraordinary circumstances that had led him to this point. As the sentence was read, Brown demonstrated remarkable emotional restraint, his expression a carefully composed mask of determination and resigned acceptance. His final statement to the court captured the profound emotional wound that had driven his entire journey. "The murder of my family is a wound that will never heal. The memory of these people keeps me moving forward and seeking justice." The verdict triggered a national conversation that extended far beyond the confines of the courtroom, with public reaction divided between those who saw Brown as a tragic hero and those who viewed him as a dangerous vigilante who had fundamentally undermined the rule of law. In the aftermath of the trial, Brown's story transcended the immediate legal proceedings, becoming a powerful catalyst for broader societal discussions about the nature of justice, institutional accountability, and individual agency. The case raised profound philosophical questions about the limits of legal systems, the psychological impact of systemic failure, and the moral complexities of personal revenge. As Brown began his life sentence, communities across the country grappled with the uncomfortable truths his story had exposed, the delicate balance between institutional justice and personal trauma, and the extraordinary lengths to which a grieving individual might go when traditional systems of protection and resolution catastrophically fail. The story of Sean Brown reveals the profound consequences when justice systems fail those who need protection most. What begins as a horrific family tragedy transforms into a chilling exploration of revenge, showing how unresolved trauma can push someone to extraordinary and dangerous lengths. This case challenges us to reflect on the delicate balance between institutional justice and personal suffering. It asks difficult questions. When legal systems collapse, what limits, if any, exist for those seeking their own resolution? If this story gripped you as much as it did us, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and join our community of story lovers. Your support helps us bring more incredible narratives to you. Until next time.